Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here then welcome to my channel. Today I am fulfilling your dream and mine. I'm finally sitting down and doing a comparison video. Well, not exactly comparison, but I'm going to give you just an overview on all of the bronzers that I have in my collection. I've been trying a lot of bronzers this year along with blushes, of course, and I have a lot to talk about. Initially I was just going to do rating video where I rate all of my bronzers, but then yesterday when I was watching all of them, I thought it was not fair because I have different categories. So I have some cream bronzers, I have stick bronzers, I have powder bronzers. So comparing and rating all of them together will not make sense and will also not be fair to the product. So instead I'm going to rate them and also just give you an overview on all of these bronzers based on the category. So let's quickly begin because I have a lot to talk about. Also, the same disclaimer, you're going to hear a lot of background noise. I film on weekends, and today I especially have my windows all open because it's supremely gloomy in Bangalore. There's no way for me to film in natural lighting without my windows open, so I hope you guys don't mind that. So yeah, let's get started now. Also, something that I completely forgot to mention earlier is I'm not talking about bronzers which I just don't like at all. You know, like I have certain bronzers which go patchy really quickly, and I'm not talking about those in this video because then this video is going to be extremely long. We cannot do that. So in this video I have all good bronzers and I'll give you pros and cons of each. So with that, let's quickly begin. Finally, I have these two bronzers in the cream category. So I have the Huda Beauty Tantour and then the PAC Studio HD concealer in the shade Fresh Brew that I use as a bronzer. I'm gonna start with Huda Beauty, of course, because if you have been following me for a long time now, you know this was my first love. I have recommended it way too many times now. Anyways, so I have two shades with me right here. I have the shade Light, which is initially what I fell in love with. Shade, consistency, formula, everything. Then I saw the shade what shade is this, Medium, on offer, and I picked this up. But I will suggest that you pick the shade Light if you are closer to my skin tone or like my skin tone. I've tried both at this point, and if I have to pick one, I will definitely go with this because I find this to be more versatile as opposed to the shade Medium. Now for the swatches part of the video, I've used the shade Medium, and you can see it is quite dark on my skin tone, and also the undertone of that leans more towards red undertone as opposed to the shade Light, which is just like a warm neutral undertone. The reason why I could not give you a swatch of this is because this has expired and is smelling really funky, and there's just, I don't know what's inside of this. There's some, I don't know. Okay, I could not get myself to use this on my skin, but I will leave few videos where I've used this in the past and you can see how beautifully this works. Now the reason why I love this so much is because of course the consistency. It has this creamy consistency where it is not extremely full coverage, nor is it too light coverage. I find the coverage of this one very nice in medium and of course buildable, which is why I find this to be extremely versatile. You can use this on your low coverage days or minimal makeup days, but it works beautifully for your full coverage glam makeup days as well. And another good thing about it is once you use this, you don't feel the need to add any powder bronzer on top because it almost settles to a powder finish. It does not remain tacky or shiny. Because it's a cream, you would expect it to do that on your skin, but it does not do that, which is again something that I love. Honestly, if you have your doubts on this, I don't think you should, because this is such a beautiful bronzer. This is what created this whole love story between bronzers and me, and I honestly, the whole credit goes to this, because once I tried this, it just created this curiosity in me to try different consistencies, different formulas, different undertones, because I absolutely loved using this. And you can see how much I've used it. I've almost completely finished it. You know, I think I'm always going to have a Tantour in my collection from Huda Beauty. It's beautiful and it's perfect. Next product in the cream category that I'm going to talk about is the Studio HD concealer from PAC Cosmetics. Like I said before, this is in the shade Fresh Brew. Now this one is a proper bronzer in a sense that it's quite warm toned. This is a concealer, it's not supposed to be a bronzer, so I understand why this is so warm. It's supposed to be a concealer for somebody with this skin tone, right? But I love this as a proper bronzer. Now with Tantour, you can get away with using this as your contour and bronzer because of the undertone of this. But with this, I don't think, I mean, again, if you're just into bronzer, you can use this, but you cannot expect this to give you any shadow color on your skin. You have to use a contour product because of how warm this is. Now, one con of this is you have to be extremely careful. If you're somebody who is very heavy handed with their makeup, I can be that sometimes. I have to make sure at least that I am taking it on the back of my hand, rubbing it in like this, and then applying. If I just dip my finger in and I apply this directly, or with a brush, with a sponge, anything, I cannot do that directly with this product because of how potent and just full coverage this is. So it is very long lasting, I'll give the product that. But like I said, just be careful with the amount that you are using. Otherwise, I think this is a steal again at the price. It is on the expensive side. I think I paid 900 something on discount if I'm not wrong. But again, it's very rich and it looks beautiful, especially, you know, when you're doing a cool toned eye, or like you're using a blush which is not so warm tone. This comes in so handy. I always reach out to this whenever I'm doing a look like that, or I just feel like my face is looking incomplete. I want to add slight warmthness to my skin. So if I have to rate between the two, I think I'll still choose my Huda Beauty Tantour because like I said, it is just versatile. I don't have to use a powder bronzer on top. I can skip my contour altogether because it just adds, it is 2-in-1 product for me. It acts as a contour, it acts as a bronzer, it just provides the shape, dimension, everything all together. But if you're looking for something like that on a budget, I think this is also great. Just you have to add one extra step with your contour if you're looking for that. Moving on to stick bronzers, I have 3 with me. I have the Blue Heaven Duo Stick. This is in the shade Magnificent Deep. And then I have this, actually, you know what, I don't even know if this product is on Mars website, but this is from Mars Cosmetics and I have this in the shade 2, and the product name is completely rubbed off. I bought this from Amazon, so I'm really not sure if I should talk about this because sometimes Mars Cosmetics products which are on Amazon and not on their website are discontinued very randomly. So I'm not sure if this is still available, but I'm going to talk about it anyways. And then lastly, we have the Kiko Milano Sculpting Creamy Touch Contour. So I'm going to start with the Mars one, of course. Now again, this is a proper bronzer shade. This does not give me a lot of dimension and depth as a contour product can do or can give. So just keep in mind that this is a nice light to medium coverage contour stick. It blends beautifully, no complaints there, and it is on the light side of things. You know, if I compare it with my Blue Heaven one, this is definitely darker in shade, but this one reminds me of the pack one shade wise, only this is very light coverage and I have to build it up to get to a prominent visible bronzer look, if that makes sense. Now in the swatch portion of the video, I have applied it with the help of a brush because most contour sticks can remove the foundation underneath, and I also wanted to give you a proper representation of how it would look once applied correctly. So you can see in the video as well that once I built it up twice, you can see the color on my skin and the shade is quite warm tone. So if you are looking for an affordable bronzer stick, then this is a great one. I have the shade 02. The next one is the Stroben Shape Duo Stick from Blue Heaven. Now the thing with this is this can be a little bit stiff and slightly difficult to blend when compared to this one or some other bronzer sticks that I'm going to talk about, but either ways it does blend out really well. It's just that it takes a little bit of time for it to really seamlessly blend onto your skin, and I actually really like the tone of this. I don't think I can call this as a bronzer stick. This is more of a contour shade. Maybe if I get the lighter shade in this, it would act as a bronzer, I'm not sure. But this shade in particular is a contour, right? You can see it's not, it is a cool toned shade, and that is something I actually like about this, because I don't want all of my bronzer sticks to be warm and just light coverage. Sometimes I add, you know, warm shades bronzer stick like this one on all over my face, and then I'll take a bronzer stick. This is not a bronzer stick, this is a duo stick, let me call it that. I'll take this product and I'll just add it on the very outer corner, just right here, and that just gives me contour plus bronzer all in one with just these stick products. So especially on the days I feel like my face is extremely bloated, I need something more than just warmth and bronzer, this is what I reach out to. And lastly, in the stick category, we have the Kiko Milano Sculpting Touch Creamy Stick Contour. The only thing that I don't like is I have to build this up quite a lot. I think this is specially meant for fairer skin tones, and if you have really fair skin tone, then I think this shade would be really nice on you. But on me, I have to build this up quite a lot. But you can see it's very subtle, and I especially love this on my no makeup days, on my very minimal, I don't want to do much of steps, but I still want to add slight color on my face. This is exactly what I reach out to. It's easy to apply as well. It's a stick. And another thing that I absolutely love and appreciate about this is it does not pick my foundation when I'm applying it directly on my face. I don't particularly have to use a brush like I have to do with certain sticks. Like with these, I do make sure I use a brush on the days that I'm being very finicky and particular about my makeup. But with this one, I don't have to care at all because it does not pick my foundation at all. But I will say this, if you are looking for something which adds a lot more color, a lot more punch just with one layer, this is not the right product for you. At least not the shade 200 if you are similar to my skin tone. It's very sheer. Even when you build it up, it looks very natural. So if you are looking for something like that which is going to give you a very seamless natural bronziness to the skin, then this is beautiful. I have nothing like this honestly which looks so natural on the skin, you know, contour stick wise, and this is something that I really cherish and I get really good use out of, because it's not every day that I'm doing like a full coverage makeup, right? That's all I had to talk about this. There's no point talking more about this because it's so difficult to find. I'm looking for the darker shade in this, but I can never find it in stock. So yeah, let's move on to powder bronzers. So I'm gonna start by talking about the Glowish bronzer from Huda Beauty. This is in the shade 03 Tan Light Soft Radiance. Now, like Tantour, this again is something which is going to give you 2-in-1 result, meaning because you can see that there is this warm color in the bronzer and then there's this deeper cool tone color in the bronzer. It very much adds the bronziness to the skin but also defines your cheekbones, more of a contour job. And sometimes when I don't have the time to use cream or bronzer, I would either just go with my Tantour, forget the powder bronzer, or if I don't have the time to, again, you know, open this, find a brush and all of that situation, I just grab this and I know this is going to give me contour effect and bronzer effect, and it is beautiful. It blends so easily and smoothly. My only fuss about most powder bronzers is that it can look choppy, it can look unblended, especially on this side of my face. I don't know what it is, but so many products go patchy on this side, and I'm not talking about texture or pimples or anything, it's just the way my face shape is. It's not symmetrical, of course, right? So anyways, point is, I've never had a situation where this has looked patchy or not blended in. It is a very smooth bronzer. Also, I like that I have the option to try it in a smaller version, because I know the full version is again quite expensive, but I think I paid 1500 for this and I think it's totally worth it. Now, another bronzer that I've been really loving is this one from Revolution. This is the Mega Bronzer and I have this in the shade 01 Cool. Now, very honestly, it's okay, it's not almost, but it's very close to the size of my face. Look how huge that is. I don't think I'm ever going to run out of it. Now this one has a special place in my heart because this is not too warm nor is it too cool toned where it almost looks like a contour, and it's so versatile. Like I can pair this with any look, you know, any look, and it looks beautiful. It adds dimension because again it's not too warm toned, but it also adds the warmth that I want from a bronzer. Absolutely love it. One thing that you have to keep in mind is you have to be careful with your application. Like if you're somebody again who's very heavy-handed with your products, this can be intimidating because the first 2 times I tried it, I think I over applied or something, and I was like, oh no, this is going to go patchy. I know this is going to go patchy. But then the good thing about it is as you start to blend, it does blend very seamlessly even if you have over applied. And that's something that I do like because I mostly have everything which is buildable. Sometimes it's a good change to have something which is not so buildable but also not too extreme. So this is just, I don't know, I find it to be just the perfect bronzer shade. Again, if you don't want to invest in Glowish, this is a great bronzer. The third bronzer I have is from SEPHORA, and I had high expectations from this. Not that it's bad by any means, it's not. The only thing is I have to build this up quite a lot to see it on my skin. It could be a shade issue. I have the shade 02, so maybe a different shade would be a better option for my skin tone, but because of that reason I'm not able to get much use out of it. By the way, I love the packaging. The packaging is everything on this. I love it. Lastly, we have the butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. Now this has been sitting in my collection for over more than 2 years, I guess, and the same reason, you know, exactly same reason I'm not able to get much use out of it is because of the shade. I have the shade, oh my god, smells incredible. I have the shade bronzer, just bronzer, and I know that they have extended the shade. The time that I bought this was the only shade available, I believe. Same thing, I have to build it up way too many times to see the color on my skin or this really doing anything to my skin. But this is such a smooth bronzer. It looks beautifully smooth. I have no complaints against the formula or how it applies, but the only complaint is with respect to the shade. But the only reason why I'm not going ahead and getting a different shade is because I have so many right now which is doing the job. You know, even my cheaper options from Blue Heaven or even Mars is doing exactly that, and which is why I never felt the need to invest again in a darker shade of that bronzer. So I think that completes this video. I hope I'm not forgetting any bronzer. If I am, then of course I'll do a part 2 once I've tried enough new bronzers. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this video was helpful. If you guys have any new bronzer recommendations for me, please leave them in the comment section below, because I am just trying new bronzers and blushes every month. You know, that's just how it is, and I've accepted it. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, then please give this video a big thumbs up. You can subscribe to the channel. You can click on the bell notification right next to it. You can follow me on Insta right over here, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.